You are listening to High Heels and High Chairs, voted the best online resource for busy moms who wish to stay strong, sexy, and centered in a world of spit up and sippy cups. Whether you're a new mom, a grandmom, a future mom, or somewhere in between, you'll love these priceless tips, tricks, and tools you will learn today. Here is your host, top female fat loss and hormone specialist, Dr. Michelle Sands.
Hi, and welcome back to High Heels and High Chairs, staying strong, sexy, and centered in a world of spit up and sippy cups. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Sands, and today I am so excited to have with us a really special guest. I met this woman over last summer, and I was just immediately drawn to her. She has this quality of beauty, vibrance, and real genuine authenticity that you just want to be her best friend. You want to sit down with her and have coffee and just chit-chat all day. And after talking to her, I realized that she really knows her stuff. She has so much to offer, and she really is passionate about helping women to really be their best self and stop the whole calorie counting and being so hard on ourselves and really just stop and enjoy life. So her name is Nicholson, and she is a holistic health coach, but she's also a professional cheerleader for the NFL. So she has been a cheerleader for the past 5 years, and she went to the Pro Bowl, and she started mentoring other women on how to make the cheer team and how to be better cheerleaders. But that also transitioned as she became a mom into teaching women how to eat healthy, live healthy, and really enjoy life. And once she had her son, she actually went back to nutrition school because she wanted to be able to provide him with the best start in life and him with the best health and nutrition. So I really love her story, and she just has so much to offer. If you see her photo, you can see that she's definitely a beautiful woman, but just know that she's also beautiful on the inside. So Julia, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I am thrilled.
Wonderful. So I just really love your story and how you're trying to pass through like being out there on the field in front of everybody as like a superstar cheerleader, and then also being a superstar mom at home and really helping other moms like yourself to be super healthy. So can you tell us a little bit about your story, how you actually started cheering and got to the NFL, and then the transition into being a holistic health coach?
Yes, absolutely. Well, after I got out of college, I kind of knew that I didn't know what I wanted to do with my degree, but at that point, I was really into dancing. So I put myself through college on the dance team scholarship for the 2 colleges that I attended. And after that, I just thought, I still want to continue doing this because it's just something that makes me really happy in life. And I attended the University of Alabama, and when I graduated, actually that same time of graduation, I decided, I'm going to try out for the NFL cheerleading team. So the closest one was the Tennessee Titans cheerleaders. And my boyfriend, now husband, he was like, you should really look into this. And, growing up in Alabama, you know about SEC football, and that's really all you know. So it's quite a foreign world to me. And we actually attended one game before I decided to try it, and I was like, well, I'll give it a go, and I'll try. And I went to the tryouts, and I just joked that, I wasn't going to tell anybody that I was trying out. I was just going to go and see how it went. Well, my dad found out about it, which is like my number one biggest cheerleader in life. And then I ended up with 30 friends and family there. So I joked that the judges just had to take me because they were so loud and cheering, because it's an open live audition. So, but that was back in 2006. So it's been actually 10 years since I first made the team. And I didn't really know what I was getting into. I had no idea the impact it would have on my life when I first made it. It was very different back then. I was much younger, right out of college, so I was 21. And it has been an incredible journey. I cheered for 5 years. My first round at cheering, and I love it. I always tell people, it molded me into the person I am today. It's actually a lot of what I teach now on the life component of my health coaching, becoming your best self, because they're very centered, in the fact that there's not a lot of cattiness like you would think. Oh, gosh, 28 girls on one team. You would think that there was a lot of cattiness, and no. I mean, we're all about inspiring women, and everybody's super driven, and we just lift each other up, and we're big into the community as far as, you know, we get out in the community a lot more than players do because the players have such rigorous schedules and practice schedules. So I did it for 5 years and got selected. I had the honor of going to the Pro Bowl, which is just one person from each team gets to go. It was great, and thought, you know, this is as high as I can get. I really want to walk away from this one. I still love it. And so I decided to, at that point, retire from cheerleading. My husband and I had been married for 4 years at that point. And we kind of wanted to start our family after a little bit. And then I started mentoring women on how to make the team. So it was just such a big part of my life and who I turned into. Even the audition process, I felt like it had the opportunity to transform people. And so that's kind of when I started that. And I had my little boy probably like 1.5 to 2 years later. And my husband and I had always been very nutrition, minded. We are kind of the crazy people that have, like, if you come over my house, we have kombucha behind the picture frames, like brewing for their 2 to 3 week time period. They have to sit. So, but I just had this responsibility that I just needed to learn more. If I was going to be responsible for how he turned out in life, I wanted to do it right from the start. And that's what led me to go back to school. And I went to IIN, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and really didn't think I would do anything with it. I just thought I would just learn for me. And once I got out, it was something I just couldn't not share with people. And and then I actually went back to Titans to cheer for 2 more years when Luke was just 1. And so I just finished up in December. January was our last game. So that kind of takes us to where we are here. And now I do run a full-time health coaching business. I absolutely love mentoring women on how to become their best, healthiest self while, like, looking their best and feeling their best. And I'm a Bar 3 instructor, so I teach just a few fitness classes a week. And, of course, my number one priority is a mommy and a wife. So, yeah.
Wow.
So in a nutshell, there you go. 10 years in a few minutes.
Wow. Congratulations. You do so much. I mean, that is a really rigorous schedule, being on the team and traveling and doing the community service. And then, of course, raising your son and going to school when you're going to school and now running a business. How do you balance that? Because I know there's a lot of moms out there that just feel like they're running ragged just from the perils of motherhood. Their energy gets sapped, you're exhausted, and there's just so many things to do. So how do you keep it balanced, and what advice would you give other moms for being able to really follow your dreams and pursue what you love while being a mom?
Exactly. I feel like the biggest thing as far as balance would be priorities. So really anchoring and knowing what your true priorities are in life. So for me, being a good wife and a good mother are really what comes first, and then I can fill in my other things from there. So it's nice to know when I have to make choices. If I know what aligns with my priorities, I really feel good about that. I have a lot of support. My husband's super supportive of the things that I do. So I definitely wouldn't be able to do all I do without him saying, oh, absolutely, go for it. However, I will say that when you are becoming a mom, or you are a mom yourself, it's really easy, and I see this all the time with my clients and even myself, back before, I know that I'm a better mother and I'm a better wife when I still get to pursue some of my passions and really take care of myself. I don't have a whole lot of love to give that's overflowing if I'm not yet filling myself up as well. So that's one of the reasons why I went back to Titans the second time, is because I felt like, our practice schedules are at night. It's at 8 o'clock. My son was in bed at that point. So it was nice that I wasn't taking time away from him. And I could go to these practices where I'm surrounded by that constant, women who are very inspiring, that are very motivating. And I feel like surrounding yourself with the people that you most want to become, whether you know them personally or whether you just, follow them from afar, or read about things on the internet, listen to podcasts or summits like this. I feel like surrounding yourself with those people help lift you up and then help fill your cup too. You have to find some passions of your own. Otherwise, I feel like a lot of women can lose themselves in becoming, a mom.
I so agree with that. And, I really find, especially the moms that come to me who have children that are a little bit older and maybe in their teens, they've been doing this for so long where they haven't been filling their cups. Like you said, they haven't been surrounding themselves with positive women or doing something that they love. And what they end up doing is they end up not only having physical issues because they're not, taking care of their body, but a lot of times they start to resent the people that they gave it all to. They start to resent their family, and they start to feel depressed. And then when the kids do go to college, they leave the house, then you lose track of who you are, because you've just been this mom for so long and not really fostering your other passions and desires and loves other than being a mom. So I think that that's super important. And I love that you said it doesn't have to be like going physically to an event or going physically just to meet with women. Even just like, we have technology now. There's so many great communities on Facebook and listening to summits like this, or, even like emailing friends or texting, having a text accountability circle. There's so many ways to do it now. I love technology for that reason. And so I really love that you brought that up, and that's so important.
That is so true. And I know we think a lot alike in that aspect, and I love that. And, even if it's something just as simple as a nice hot bath, like at night, that is just something that you're like, I know this is me time. Even if I only spend 10 minutes in here, it's just 10 minutes to myself, and I'm allowing myself, to have this time. And sometimes we just need that.
Yeah. So I've got to ask, because I know a lot of moms are thinking this or listening. And, after you had your son, you were able to get back on the field in a very short amount of time in the skimpy little outfit and look really good. So I know we want to know, like, what are your secrets? Like, how did you be able to, like, physically and mentally be able to get back into that perky, happy, bouncy, fit cheerleader after having a son?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, I was having this conversation with another friend of mine, and she was like, I cannot get to a gym. I don't have time to go to a gym by the time I pack up all his stuff and get there. What if they're not open? What if the daycare isn't available? And so I just couldn't help but laugh because, that was exactly me. After I had Luke, I didn't have a whole lot of, time to go. I didn't have a gym. A lot of gyms don't have daycares. And
not for that young. Too.
Exactly.
Kids that do have daycares, they have to be. And my son is now almost a year, and I really am not so sure that he will like the daycare. So like I don't even bring him during those hours now. I know a lot of moms are just like, oh, I don't know what they're going to do at my son, and he's just going to cry, and then they're going to stop me from I have to get out of my class. So yes, we have that struggle. The struggle is real.
Exactly. The struggle is real. So, I feel like adapting it to, like, your schedule is, like, the key. So I definitely think that after I went back to school, having the knowledge that I had afterwards, I tell you, my last 2 years on the squad versus my first 5 years on the squad, are night and day different. Like, arming myself, we're taught, and I know you're the same way. You came from a background where in the very, very beginning you were taught this low-fat, diet is the way to go. And the 100, I remember those 100-calorie snack packs. Like my first year on the squad, it's true. We totally have to have weigh-ins, and I had to be like a certain weight. And I remember, like, I can only have this many calories per day and only like this 100-calorie snack pack. And then afterwards, after having Luke, I'm like, it is so much easier if you know and are armed with those tools of, like, knowing what foods are right for your body. So at that time, I knew what foods, like, fueled my unique body. I'm a big believer in bio-individuality. So what works for one person may not work for the next person. So you have to find what works right for you. You have to find what foods that you're particularly sensitive to. So that's exactly what I walk people through right off the bat when I start working with them. And then once you have a good foundation of, like, what foods are right for your body, then it becomes a lot easier. You don't count the calories. You work on how many nutrients are you getting in your diet. A lot of people are just run down and tired and don't realize how good they should feel. So I feel like having those keys helped me a lot in the beginning, the food component of it, because, I was breastfeeding, so I needed to make sure that I was getting adequate number of nutrients and adequate number, of certain foods to make sure I was getting enough fats. I was getting enough things like that. And and then as far as working out, all I did during that time was I just did it during his nap time. I did 25 minutes high-intensity workouts. I literally plug and play DVD. That's what I did. So
nice.
I'm so fortunate to be friends with Dr. Josh Axe. And so his,
burst training, right? Burst training?
Yeah, burst training. Yep. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm like, so I got that workout and I sweated and you just work with your own body weight. That's what I had, available at my house, and it worked perfectly because it was during nap time. And then we would just take extra time, like with him when he got up. We would walk or jog around the neighborhood, and that's what I did to get back in shape. So it wasn't. I really feel like the nutrition aspect is really the key and foundation, and then the right workouts for you in your body. So.
Wow, that's so profound, and I still don't know that everybody understands that. You're so right. It's one specific meal plan is not going to work for everybody because we are also bio-individual, and different people are sensitive to different things. Like I'm personally sensitive to olive oil, and olive oil is all across the board. Every website you look, it's a healthy fat. It's really good for you, but it's not.
And you're Italian, right?
Yeah, I know. I found out I was sensitive to olive oil the week before I went on a 2-week trip to Italy. It was really bad. Oh. But it was funny because I love asparagus, so I was buying asparagus. It was in season. It was on sale all the time, and I would cook it by drizzling olive oil over it and baking it. So I was eating that for like a week, and I felt absolutely horrible. I just felt terrible. So I was telling my husband, I think there's something wrong. I think I can't eat asparagus. Like I think there's something wrong. And so I stopped eating the asparagus, but I still felt horrible because I put olive oil on everything because I'm Italian. And so I finally had to take some tests and realize that it was the olive oil. But even with your general elimination diet, olive oil is not something that you generally eliminate. So it can be a lot of different things for a lot of people, but that was what was making me hold on to weight. And, when I eliminated the olive oil, within 2 months, I dropped that 10 pounds that I just couldn't get rid of. And so it really is a powerful thing. And I love that you didn't kill yourself with working out. Like, you're right. Doing something that fits into your schedule, if it's 20 minutes, 20 minutes can be very effective if you're doing the right type of exercise. And so, I actually do love Dr. Josh Axe's burst training as well. And that's a great resource for moms to, get that workout in and really make it count, make every minute count. And that's awesome.
It was good. Now I'm thankful. And again, you have to find what works right for you. Now, I really love my bar workouts now, which is what I teach a good bit. And it's nice to get out and, be able to be social. But you have to pick what's right for, your stage in your life. And when your child is very, very young, again, you're not necessarily going to want to get out right off the bat and take him in those type of environments, So yeah, no,
exactly.
You're exactly right.
Sounds wonderful. So when you're working with clients who are new to living healthy, maybe they didn't have the knowledge, maybe they had the old knowledge that we both had when we were starting out, learning that you just do a lot of aerobic exercise and you eat high carbs and you have your whole grain cereal for breakfast and it's not working. That worked for me actually for a few years when I was in my 20s. And then as I started to get a little bit older, I was realizing it wasn't working anymore. My hormones were depleted, my energy was depleted, and so I really did have to learn how to eat. But when you're working with someone who's brand new, what are some first steps that you take?
That's a great question. So a couple first steps that I take is instead of thinking about all the things that you have to take out of your diet, I always think about adding things into your diet. So, so for example, instead of saying, okay, we're going to eliminate this, this, and this, I say, okay, what good things can we add in this week? So if you just concentrate on adding, one thing in. So say, for example, if you're just going to start off with something as simple as water, let's add in a good amount of water into your diet, because right now you're not getting, adequate water intake. So sometimes I'll say, have a pitcher, if you go to work, have a pitcher in the refrigerator of your water or on your desk, either one, and just have your water container and cup. And so every day, you fill your pitcher up with water, and you refill your cup. So by the end of the day, you look at your pitcher and you're like, oh, half of it's still there, or all of it's gone, and I did a really good job today. I have a lot of other people that just put like rubber bands around their water bottles, and then every time they fill it up, they just move the rubber band down. So that's like just adding in one thing. Maybe you can add in a smoothie, the next week. We're just going to incorporate more nutrients into your diet. And for you, smoothies just a really easy way to do it. Maybe you're super, super busy in the morning, and you can package and freeze in little bags, your pre-mixed smoothies, and then all you have to do is add in your almond milk, because all your veggies and chopped up fruit are already in the frozen bag.
That's really
so
smart.
Adding
that's
in
really
things.
Smart tip.
Yeah.
I love that you focus on the adding in and not the taking away, because so many conventional diets and health programs, they start with telling you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have this, and then it leaves us feeling deprived, and it makes us feel like we can't do it, because we hear all those no, 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 and then we tell ourselves no, and that really sets us up for failure. So I love the water example, because those who know me know that even though I was really into health and I was a doctor, I had the most horrible and embarrassing Diet Coke addiction. And I tried everything I could think of. I told my husband, don't let me have them, and I found myself sneaking out to a vending machine and getting one and, hiding it just because I had that addiction. But the minute I actually focused on drinking more water, I stopped drinking the Diet Coke, because I just simply couldn't fit the liquid in. I had to drink a certain amount of water, and so I just couldn't drink anymore. So I stopped drinking the Diet Coke. And then really, when you start, there's a lot of people out there saying, I don't like water, I don't like the taste of water. And that was me. I needed flavor. I needed all this flavor to hyperstimulate my taste buds, and that's because I was drinking the soda and the chemicals all the time. But once I started drinking more water, I didn't have that craving anymore. My body started to get used to having purity in it instead of having junk. And so I think that tip is really, it's psychologically sound, and it's also really physically and just real life. It actually, by adding stuff in, you by default have to take other stuff out.
Exactly. And I feel like you have to make it practical to your life, and you can't have it be depriving. I'm like, what is the worst thing in the world is when you start something new and you feel like you're just depriving yourself all the time. I mean, as moms, we're constantly giving, and we hold on to the few things that we feel like are treats. And so it's really hard, I feel like, when people are saying, I want to be healthier, I want to be stronger, I want to live a good example for my kids, that then they look at their diet and they're like, this has to be miserable. It doesn't have to be miserable, but you just have to take it one step at a time, make it practical and easy for you, and set it up to the fact that it becomes a lifestyle, because the worst thing in the world is you getting on an actual quote unquote diet and just being on it for a short period of time just to yo-yo back. No, we're thinking long term. We want you looking good and being your best self and your best mom, 5 years down the road, not back to where you were and worse. So
I love it. Just creating healthier habits for yourself and your family. And many of these tips, drinking more water, having smoothies packed with fruits and vegetables, these things are going to be things that you can not just keep for yourself, but also share with your entire family. It's really funny how the healthier version of being healthy and losing weight is stuff that can apply to the whole family. Meanwhile, these other quick fix diets where you eat weird foods and have to take pills, those are something that you couldn't share with your family. You couldn't have your kids also eating those chemicals and ingesting those pills and things like that. But that's how you know if you're doing a sound program. I think if it's something that you can also give to your child, then you know that it's health building and not just depleting. And I love that you are just so sound when it comes to really empowering women to take care of themselves. It's really about taking care of yourself and not depriving yourself.
I 100% agree with that. I think that, and you're exactly right. If you can incorporate it into your whole family, I think that that's key. Because I love that my son now asks. He's like, "Mommy, I want my milkshake," and I can give him. He thinks my smoothies are his milkshakes, and so I don't have anything in there that is not okay for him to have. Like, it's all 100% just fruits and vegetables, and even like if I add in protein or collagen, I'm like, all that is perfectly fine, for him to have as well. So absolutely.
And it makes it easier because you don't have to prepare something for them and then something for you. You can just prepare it all together, and they learn healthy habits from you. Your kids learn what you do, not what you say. So that was another reason why I just had to get rid of that Diet Coke habit, because I didn't want my son seeing me drinking out of a can, like this bubbly, chemically liquid, because he was going to eventually think that was a good thing to do. So, like, not only are you being healthy for yourself, but you're really setting the example for your family. And so another question I want to ask you is, we both really love essential oils when it comes to, really helping to live a natural, healthy life. So I wanted to see how you incorporate oils into your practice with your clients.
Oh, yeah. So yes, I am a huge believer in essential oils. When I first found out about them, I kind of felt robbed in the fact that how have these been around since the beginning of time?
Yes.
I have not known about them. And when I started incorporating first in my lifestyle and my family. Mm-hmm. And so once I saw the results in that, I was like, wow, this is just amazing. And so then I did start incorporating them into my practice as well, just because a lot of my clients were looking for different things. Like, for example, the water. A lot of people have a really hard time drinking a lot of water. So adding something like lemon oil to your water is going to help not only give it just a little bit of flavor, but it's also going to help naturally detoxify your body. Same with grapefruit. Grapefruit is so good for your metabolism. And metabolism is not just what you think of as weight loss. Having that healthy balance in blood sugar and supporting that is going to help, like, reduce some of those cravings that people have in the afternoon, especially when they're going and just transitioning, into a healthy way of eating. So I just feel like there's some easy, practical ways to do it, and I feel like it's a natural progression, right? As people look into more healthy ways to live and eat, it's naturally going to move into, all right, now that I've looked into that, I mean, realistically, what are some of these toxins that are in the air, that are in my skincare, that are in, just our cleaning products? Like, how are they affecting my body? Because, on average, people carry around 5 to 10 pounds of just inflammation in their body. And so let's talk about how we reduce that inflammation and how we reduce our toxic load. So I just love that oils can, I always say they're never a magic pill. The beautiful thing that they can do is they can come alongside, your healthy regimen that you already have already, and they can support each step of that. So like exercise, peppermint oil is something I always use before, class, because it helps give me a little bit of energy, but also cool the body down. If I need help relaxing at night, because my mind is just turning, I'll turn to something, like lavender. So they've been really good, not only with my clients and seeing their benefits, but as I teach people more and more about them, I just love hearing the stories back from people. And then my little boy, he falls down. He's like, "Mommy, I need some oils," and I love
that's so awesome.
He thinks of more natural options, and that at the end of the day, that's just what you want. You want to be a good example to your kids, and you want them to look at, the more natural remedies and ways and the things that you have access to, now. And at the end of the day, that's just what we want. So.
I totally agree. I love that. So when I was in naturopathic medicine school, I learned about essential oils in school because it's definitely been a healing modality for many, many years. And it's really funny when you mentioned the lemon in the water, because I'll tell you a little story. So I went down to just my local store and bought some lemon oil, and I put it in my water, and I just cannot believe how horrible it tasted. And so you have to make sure that you are getting the food grade oils that are quality for internal use as well, because not all oils are. Some oils are just for like the scent for aromatherapy. So you want to make sure that you're using a high quality essential oil. So that was pretty funny.
I completely agree,
no
and
idea.
I always and I always love to preface it with that, because and with anything, you just need to know exactly what you're consuming. And, of course, there aren't very many regulations on oils in the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, they can put synthetics and fillers in there and still label them 100% pure. So, yes, always good to know exactly what you're using for sure.
Yeah, and I love the essential oils as well as for like your medicine cabinet. My son, when he was younger, he used to have a lot of congestion, and so I would use one that was called Breathe, and it was a combination of different oils to help open up the airways and really help him when he was sleeping at night. In his little humidifier, we put essential oil complex, and we didn't need to go to the drugstore and buy those horrible chemical-laden medicines that have really so many side effects.
Yeah, you're right. And a lot of things, you're working with what essential oils do is they actually come alongside your body and help support it. It's making your body function as it should. And some of the things like, sleep is a big factor when I talk to a lot of moms who have small children, and a lot of things could affect, why you're having trouble sleeping. So that's like why several different oils may be, things that you look into. I always start with lavender. I love trying lavender, but for my son, he was so young when I first learned about the oils. Lavender wasn't doing a thing for him. It's because it wasn't helping with the underlying reason of why he was having trouble sleeping. And so a lot of times, instead of putting that Band-Aid, on things when you're like, I'm having trouble sleeping, and slapping a Band-Aid on it that's just going to help, knock you out, you think, okay, let's find an oil that really addresses what's really going on. And, of course, he can't tell you, any different because he's an infant. And so I kind of exhausted all my resources, lavender, room, chamomile, and our pediatrician here in Nashville actually uses oils. So I reached out to her. I said, okay, I've eliminated, I'm still new, but this is something we definitely need help with. And she was like, try vetiver oil. And I'd never thought of vetiver oil, but it's very grounding because it comes from a root. And so vetiver oil was 100% his oil that he needed. And now every night that's what he gets in his diffuser, and it's amazing how like he sleeps. And he would even hold up his feet at night, like on his little changing tables when I was changing his diaper. He would hold up his feet. And you could tell because they know, what makes them feel good. And I was just always comforted by that fact. I don't think that I'll ever forget that. I would make up a little blend for him every night and drop it on his feet because you always want to dilute it when you're using oils on kids. And so learning about the safety of the oils. But yes, I'm like, it's amazing. But yes, yep, huge believer in the oils.
Yeah, it's really funny that you said that because children are very in tune with what makes them feel good and what makes them feel bad. And I think it's really important for us as adults to get back to that. A lot of times with all of the outside sources in our world today, there's so many chemicals and toxins that we breathe. You can't help but to come in contact with them in regular life. And then, if you're eating the conventional American diet, you're going to get a lot of them in your food as well. And the more you have in your body, the less you're able to really be in tune with what makes you feel good. And so I think as you follow those tips that we talked about earlier, eating healthier and doing some exercise, and, those things are going to help you to release some of those toxins and really get your body to the point where it can be mindful about what it likes and dislikes. So it's really funny that you mentioned your son because babies they haven't come in contact with that many toxins yet. So I think that they're able to really be in tune with what feels good. And it's something that I aspire all moms to work towards, is to knowing what makes you feel good as well.
So true. I agree.
Okay, Julia, we're running low on time, so I wanted to make sure that we talked about the fabulous free gift that you're offering. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I put together a little something. So when you reached out to me, I was like, what is going to be really good? And so I did a 3-day mini little detox reset. So a lot of times when I get started, people are like, okay, Julia, I want to get started. I want to set me on the first couple steps that I need to take. What are those? What things can you learn if you bundle it together in a little nutshell? And then just give me a little plan to kind of kickstart me. So that's what I put together is a little cheat sheet of a lot of the things that I've learned and what I've incorporated, into a lot of my clients, like lifestyles and habits, and then a 3-day complete, like with recipes and everything. Just how to reset your body. So you're going to get a little meal plan. You're going to get the recipes, and hopefully it'll be stuff that you can try out and test out, and then incorporate into your little meal planning throughout the week. And so I put that together, and I actually created a little website special for them, and that is 3 days to sexy. They can go and get that for free. It's the number 3 and the rest of it spelled out. 3 days to sexy.com. And so that is.
And I'll put a link right next to this interview, so you guys don't have to remember that. You can just click on the link right next to this.
Awesome. That's perfect. And so that I thought that it would be something just that you can access just right now and get started as well. I did at the end of that email, if you go in and put in your email and your name, it'll come just straight to you. And at the end of that little ebook guide that I put together for you, there is another special offer, and it has a little link to my Sexy Spring Reset. So this is something that I created, and it really, actually, I took all the cheerleaders through it last year that were re-auditioning to kind of reset their bodies for tryouts. But I run a lot of my clients through it because I feel like, again, you go back to the fact where you need to know what foods fuel your particular body. So I help take out a lot of the common food allergens. And let me tell you, when I first did this the first time, when I was like, okay, I need to eliminate, let me just do this just for myself. And you take out eggs, you take out dairy, you take out gluten, you take out soy. If you go to the store or you go to a restaurant and you're like, okay, I've taken these few things out. They're just very few things, but they are in everything. And so you kind of I just felt so overwhelmed. And I was like, there's no way that I could do this. So that's why I put together this plan, is that it is exactly complete with everything you need to have just a reset, but it comes with every meal that you can imagine. So it has literally 4 days of, okay, I'm going to prep. I'm going to get ready. So I'm going to get ready for this detox. I'm going to mentally prep. And then it takes you through a 7-day reset. So if you feel like you need to, I just need to reset my body. And I'm a big component on, cooking once and eating twice. So, or feeding your other people in your family. Like my son loves a lot of the soup and smoothie recipes, and it's all just foods that you'll find in your grocery store, just regular clean eating. And so it just takes a lot of the thought out of it. And by the end of the 7 days, then I ask you through step by step. All right, how do we add these back in? Let's add back in dairy today, because symptoms can show up 3 days later, so you just need to listen to your body. But by the end of the 7 days, it's amazing because you're like, I didn't realize that I would feel this good. I didn't realize that I didn't have to have coffee to feel this energetic. Or, oh, my gosh, I used to not go to the restroom for 3, 4, 5 days, and now my digestive system is working properly again, and I'm actually going like I should. So I get more, I'm sure you get more poop questions than ever being a health coach. I feel like we get a lot of digestive questions. And but yeah, so it is just a reset. And so I have a special offer for just our group and the summit, and there's a direct link to that in the 3 days to sexy little freebie. So
awesome. Thank you so much. I love that it's short and only 3 days. So it's definitely something that if you're scared, it's only 3 days and you can do it. You can finish it, and that's awesome. So thank you so much for that, and thank you so much for being here today. It's been a really great conversation, and it was really great insight into, how you do it all and how you still look awesome and teach other women to look and feel awesome too. So thank you so much, and thank you everybody listening. I hope that you guys got a lot of value out of today's interview, and I really hope that you'll go over and grab that free gift and really meet Julia and see how awesome she is. So thank you again so much for being here. Have a happy, healthy, and hot day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you received a lot of value out of this interview. I know that I did. I want you to open up to the possibility of making this new year the greatest opportunity that you have had so far to improve your life. This is about breaking out of paradigms. It's about learning the art of living. It is about honoring who you are as a woman as you discover who you are as a mother. It is about taking care of your body, mind, and spirit so that you can take better care of your family and be a shining example, a role model for your children so that they can grow up to be healthy, happy, and successful. I promise to continue to bring you educational, empowering, and inspiring content to help you achieve the body that you dream about and the life that you are meant to live. Stay tuned for more value-packed interviews, and be sure to check out all the resources on my website, metabolicmama.com. Until next time, wishing you a happy, healthy, hot day. Take care, mamas.